And now we're ready to start to draw some walls on here. So I'm going to go to my Home tab. We can use our Quick Access toolbar here as well if we've added some items onto that, but I'm just going to pick my Wall tool off of my Home tab up over here. Starts my Wall tool, and then I can go in here and I can use different wall types that are available. And what I'm going to do is start with what is called the generic 8-inch wall. Okay, start with that, and I'm going to go over here to my element properties, pick on that, and go into what are called type properties. I'm going to make a new wall type. Okay, and this one's called generic 8-inch. Okay, and I'm going to duplicate that by cloning it, and I'm going to call this, garage wall. And hit OK. So it's going to give me that new name. It's going to be a system family under basic walls called garage wall. It'll be listed in here in our project browser. The key here is we're going to go to structure and hit this little skinny edit button. And then we can hit a preview, and it's going to show us what that wall looks like. And then all there is really one component, and then there's the core boundary up and beside. So we're going to go into here where it says structure. Notice this is the exterior side and interior side of the wall as you add different layers. Drywall, studs, sheathing, siding. Watch, we go insert, boom, adds a new component. Okay, right inside of here. So this is going to be called structure 2, substructure 2. And we're going to leave the material for now. We're going to change the thickness of this to be, let's say 1/2 inch or 3/16. So 3/16 of an inch, and it's going to be the material plywood. So I'm going to pick on this little tiny button over here. Bumps us into our materials. I'm going to scroll down and pick wood, sheathing, plywood. Hit OK. I'm going to also change the material of this one while I'm in here, this structure, to be wood stud layer. Hit OK, and it's not 8 inches, it is 5.5 inches. You have to say inches or it'll make it feet. So my total wall thickness is this big, and now I'm going to go up to the top here and hit insert again. And I'm going to insert another layer, and it's going to be just like a siding. So I'm going to go look for siding clapboard as an example, 6-inch parallel lines, and it's going to be, 1/2 an inch thick. So there's my new wall. I can click in here and zoom in. There's my studs. Okay, there's my sheathing, and there's my siding. The sheathing and the studs are within the core boundary, and the siding is outside the core. And when we place the wall, we can use face of core, face of exterior, face of interior, center of wall. So center of the entire wall, edges of the core, or edges of the entire wall. When you place it, so this is important to understand. So we can move that preview in or out. We can also make the preview be a sectional view. Click in, and we can zoom in there as well. Okay, so we can close that off. We can hit OK. Now we have a new wall called garage wall. Hit OK. And now as we place the wall, we're going to look at our options bar. It's very important that we always pay attention to what's going on our options bar as we're drawing. Okay, so we started our wall tool, we made a new wall type, added that information. The height is going to go from the level I'm on up to top of plate. So from foundation to top of plate. Location line is going to be core face exterior, which is going to be the edge between the sheathing and the siding. Okay, I'm going to turn chain on, which means I can go pick. I don't have to restart my first point again. It takes my last point as the first point of my next segment of my wall. Do I want to offset the wall in plan? No. So watch what I'm going to do. Wheel around or pan around with my middle mouse button, wheel in, and then I'm going to pick on here, and I'm going to drag over to here, and it snaps to there. Look, pick, and then pan this way with my middle mouse button, my wheel button, pick, keep dragging, pick, mouse and pan with the middle mouse, pick, and it automatically knows I'm back to another wall and it stops. Now I can hit escape once and it'll stop that, escape again, resets it right back to the beginning, and then pan to zoom out. Now you can't see the different layers in the wall right now because I'm set to be low detail. If I click down here and say fine detail, I'm going to see a little more detail. Now I'm still not seeing the detail that I want, and that's because I have what are called thin lines is not turned on, which is what you see is what you get. Because that space is so small and my line weights are set so heavy, you can't really see the layers inside of here between, it doesn't matter because the pen weights are set to be high enough. And at this scale, you wouldn't see them anyway. So that's really what you would get. But if you do want to see your different components in more detail, you want to go to view and say turn on what is called thin lines. And what that does is it turns it into thin lines, which means that it doesn't really show you the line weight, but it does show you the different layers. So we have our stud layer, we have our sheathing layer, and I should have made that 5/16, not 3/16, and then I have my 1/2 inch, and there's my grid lines. So let's show you what we can do here. I'm going to pick on this wall, and I'm going to go into the split button here and say type properties of that wall. I'm going to go back into the structure of that garage wall, and this isn't 3/16. I wanted this to be 5/16 of an inch. Hit OK. It changes that wall, changes the overall thickness, and updates all the walls in the project, picking out, and now I've got my thicker sheathing on there. Okay, you can do SD on the keyboard for shaded mode, or switch here to be shaded mode, doesn't matter. Okay, back to hidden line, click out. There's our walls, and if you select that wall and you go to the instance properties on the top half here, you will see that it is from top of foundation up to top of plate. It is 10 feet high. If I change top of plate level, my wall will update accordingly. Okay, if I hit my 3D button over here, my little doghouse button, it'll show me a 3D view of what I've got so far. Shift middle mouse button on the keyboard in 3D. If you do a shift and a middle mouse button pressing in, you can do that, and then off the shift and you can zoom around. So there's our walls all drawn, and we're ready to put a roof on it.